So we were just saying earlier about the housing crisis that's coming. It's like it's going to be a tidal wave of record-breaking homeless numbers here in the United States. Are we going to see riots again?
Yeah, and I think people are going to get killed during evictions. I think there's going to be some gunfire exchanges during some of these evictions. I don't think we're ready for that. I'm terrified of what that's going to look like, and if that could be what really sets this off, in an even more desperate way, than the death of George Floyd.
Yeah, I think you're right, because we were looking at the death of one man that represented the 1,000 every year that are killed, but then you look at this. This is going to be a very direct, millions of people homeless.
Yeah.
There are so many people who can't pay their rent right now, and all their landlords have all the papers ready to evict. When this hits the fan, every other country's been paying their mortgages and their rents for them.
Yeah.
We don't have that here, and these people are going to be due for 4 months of rent all on the same day that they couldn't pay before, and they can't pay it now.
No. And the sheriff's departments around the United States are not equipped for this. There are not, there's not enough out there to do this all at the same time. It's just gonna get ugly. It's gonna get so ugly.
You think we're gonna see the National Guard again?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Because they're not going to have enough people to actually make people leave. They don't have enough people to actually do that. And states are going to call out reserve at that point. Possibly. Hopefully not. Hopefully there's a negotiation. But this would be the time to actually have a rent strike. This would be because there aren't enough people to actually enforce this. They would have to take severe draconian measures to actually enforce this. This is the time to have a rent strike because you're literally all in it together. And this is the time to be like, no, part of the American social contract is I should be able to afford to have a place to live.
Right.
You told me to not go to work. You shut my work down. You told me I couldn't go. I didn't go. I did what I was supposed to. I did what the authority told me to do. And my payment for that is having all of my stuff thrown on the street. Yeah, that's the problem. That's we told people to do the right thing.
Exactly.
And then we don't care that they did what they were told.
The fact that people are going to be punished for doing the right thing is going to result in a backlash that may be protests, maybe riots. And I think that's what the danger is. If we don't do something about it now or start solving the problem now, we're just going to wait till it comes in the worst possible way and have to deal with it then.
Yeah. Because
you can't expect all these people to be on a rent strike and not have that go very badly, because these are people who are going to be desperate, and out of desperation becomes lawlessness, right?
Yeah, Martin Luther King, riots are the voice of the unheard,
right?
That's these people are not being listened to. Their concerns aren't being handled, and it's all going to come to head at once. Thankfully, it's not every state at the exact same time, but it's going to be an entire state.
I think one possible thing that could change, if the rent strikes start out maybe peaceful, maybe not, maybe partially, then Congress starts to get its act together and they say, well, what are we going to do about this?
Yeah.
If they do anything, they're probably just going to bail out the landlords.
Yeah,
because they're not going to bail out the people. They're not going to bail out the people. They're just going to throw money at the landlords and let
the person who has 150 units, they're going to bail him out.
Yeah, they're not going to bail out the person who's got like 1 or 2 units. It's just like a working class person who scraped together enough to have a few rentals. They're going to be the big businesses. They're going to bail them out.
Yeah.
I
mean,
hope,
that's why they won't release the list of who received small business loans.
Oh yeah,
Because they
Steve
know.
Mnuchin and the $500 million or was it $500 billion that
100
went
billion.
$500 billion that went to giant corporations, and they won't tell us where our money went. It's like, so it's confidential, but we're the one picking up the tab.
Yeah. Like,
we have the right to know.
100%. 100%.
So I fear that could happen with this. I hope these predictions are wrong, but I don't think they are.
But thankfully, but part of the reason why it's good that it's going to be state by state, not nationwide the whole time, is it does give the opportunity for something like, oh crap, we didn't take care of this. We need to take care of this right now to mitigate it for everybody else.
Right.
It still will be terrible wherever it happens first. It will still not be acceptable, but it will at least give the powers that be time to hopefully put a Band-Aid on it.
Part of why I'm starting to feel a little bit more comfortable having to vote for Joe Biden here in a swing state, I'm thinking if Joe Biden does win, I don't think his leadership's going to be that important. I think his administration is going to have an opportunity, at least, whether they may take that opportunity or not. They're going to have an opportunity to make changes, and there's a lot of great bills out there, a lot of great energy and enthusiasm around change. I don't think they're going to be able to ignore it. I think that if we get another 4 years of Trump, they will ignore it. I think that at least with a Biden administration, we would have a chance at some positive changes and at least get steering in the right direction. That's just a thought that I've had.
Yeah. The only thing that worries me about that is if Trump wins this, then we can show that the Democratic Party cannot win without the progressive wing of the party. If Biden does win, then they will show that the progressive wing will just go along, and we'll go through this all again in another 8 years. And it's not a comfortable thing to think about, but that is one of the things that I worry about, is we will again set the precedent that, well, as blustery as we'll get during the middle of this, when it comes to it, it's fine. We'll just vote for blue. It's fine.
I think that I think that it's possible that we could have our cake and eat it too if we decide to change the direction of the Democratic Party rather than come in maybe as an oppositional force to the Democratic Party. I think that Bernie Sanders in 2016, people were so fed up with the Democratic Party. That was part of the energy behind his campaign.
Yeah.
But then, now people are like, well, wait a minute. I want the stability of the Democratic campaign, or Democratic Party, to beat Trump. I think that, Andrew Yang has had a really pragmatic approach, and he's been able to get people rallied around his ideas without thinking he's like disrupting. So like universal basic income has gone from unpopular to popular.
Yeah.
And I think that a lot of people are starting to say, oh, like Bernie Sanders' idea of having universal health care, that makes sense because in a pandemic, you need everybody. You start to realize there's like a overarching goal of health. You should care if your barista has the flu. You should worry if your waiter or waitress has the flu. And with universal basic income, it's the same thing. It's like, we should have a floor so that people don't, the minute you're unemployed, you're just up the creek without a paddle. All these sorts of things. So I think that people are open to the ideas, because if you look at Bernie Sanders' platform and if you look at Andrew Yang's platform, all the ideas, if you poll them, are popular. But then if you poll like Bernie Sanders as an oppositional, people say, I'm not comfortable with that. And I think that if we kind of ease people into being comfortable with the platform, we may be able to change the party. And I think that may be the route we have to go, because coming as oppositional, like we're going to destroy the party, I don't think it worked out as well as we wanted it to.
No, but and another thing that I would point out to anybody watching this is, if your state still has a primary, go vote. Go vote. Because the way we're going to change the Democratic Party is by getting progressives in office.
Yeah,
and
absolutely.
The primaries that are on right now, the Democrats that are being primaried, go vote. Do your research. Go vote.
Yeah, they're
not all the
ones.
same. They're not interchangeable. Go vote.
And that's another point is, I think the worst thing people can say is vote blue no matter who.
Yeah.
That's you taking all your power and just throwing it away. And I think that's the important thing to say. Basically, you're basically telling the Democratic Party, hey, whatever you want to do to screw me over, I'm still going to vote for you because you're not as bad as Trump. And so I do agree that we do have to be cautious not to give in to, hey, Democrats, whatever you do, as long as you don't get to be as bad as the Republicans, we're always going to have your back. And there is that fear. So I think that that's an important thing to say, and it's an important thing to keep in mind. So we have to say, here's the Democratic Party where it is. We need to steer it in the right direction, and not be 70% Republicans like Obama said that he is. We need to not be 70% of a Republican. Only differing in like, oh, should the top marginal tax rate be 37 or 39%? Like, these arguments in another country would be within the same party, not from one party to the other.
AOC was entirely correct that in a different country, her and Joe Biden wouldn't be in the same party.
Oh, absolutely.
Entirely correct with that.
They would
entirely correct with that.
They'd be an opposite wings. Absolutely.